Ladies and gentlemen, dug from the rubble, cut from the kill, the Mouthcast.
Walking round Chicago, I have smuggled U.S. cargo, though you are far away on my wing. By the time we get to Salt Lake, I have packed you in my suitcase, hiding the creases from my old remembering.
Okay, you're listening to the Mouthcast, live and direct from lovely Holmfirth, last of the summer wine country, and sitting next to me is Lisa Hannigan. Welcome to the Mouthcast.
Hello.
Your Passenger album came out about a year ago, and you seem to have been more or less constantly on the road for it.
I've been on the go pretty much all the time since. I've had a couple of weeks off here and there, but in general I've just been on tour, which has been really, really, really nice.
All the way around the world?
Not all the way, but some of the way. But the record's all about travelling and being away from home and all that, so it's actually kind of fitting that I've spent the year singing it in different places.
The first one had that seashore cottage fireside feel to it. It's not an indoors record, but it wasn't quite as expansive, and Passenger was a lot more about travel and different kinds of journeys going on.
Yeah, well, I guess I wrote it when I was on tour for the first record, so it sort of had to be the way, you know. I guess that's the thing when people write, you know, they write their first record about their life up until that point, and then all you have to write about is being on tour for your first record, for your second one. So hence that's why it's difficult, I guess. But I didn't find it difficult in that I had lots of interesting times, and it wasn't all white lines on the highway. It was fine.
So what might the third be?
I don't know. I've just kind of started work on it now. I don't really know until it's done, you know, or certainly until the songs are written. But I don't think it'll be about travelling as much, even though I have been quite a bit in the last year. I think it'll be, I don't know, about different things. Maybe my disco record, we'll see.
Could be a good move, disco's big. I was always interested in the way that you use words. You have a really delicate touch. The lyric writing side, is that something that comes really easily to you?
Not particularly easily, but I do spend a lot of time on it. And I like when I write a song that it can sort of be read as well, you know, with some interest. Because some lines work, some sort of really simple lines just are absolutely what's required for a certain melody, or rather the combination of the two really sort of makes it more than just the words on the page, you know. But sometimes, I just like to play with words, I guess, a bit more, you know. You can do whatever you want, so why not have fun, you know? I mean, I don't get the thesaurus out or anything, but I just want to have words that aren't sort of cliche, you know, and just try and find a new way of saying something. I guess I try. I don't know if I succeed all the time, but I try.
There's quite a few sort of playful songs where the words are really fun, like What'll I Do, for instance, and Knots. But then a song like Little Bird. Yeah,
they're all quite different. You know, they're definitely. What I Do is just a really kind of easy song to write. It was just kind of like a fun. I was just sort of having fun really with it. And Little Bird is, you know, pretty serious. But I thought there was room for them both on the same record, in that because they were all recorded in the same room in the same week by the same people with the same sort of instruments, I felt like they would sonically sort of sit together reasonably well, which I hope they do. But it's always a hard thing to try and, you know, you don't have a record that is really monotone in terms of theme or emotional sort of note, because life isn't like that, so you're hardly going to write all those songs. But it is then hard to try and sort of juxtapose these things together when they're so disparate in feeling.
Well, it definitely worked on Passenger. It's a really coherent sound. You recorded it in just a week. Yeah,
in weather not too different from this, actually, in Wales. It was lovely. I had a really, really nice time. And it wasn't that stressful, actually, luckily. I think because it was all recorded live, you could do that in a week, and it's actually not that arduous. You know, I think when you're layering everything bit by bit, it's very ambitious to do it in a week, but actually when you're recording it live, you couldn't take much longer than that, or you'd only play something 5 or 6 times before it becomes tedious in terms of recording. So yeah, it worked out really well.
What records do you listen to, and what artists do you listen to that bring you that kind of feeling, that completeness that you're talking about?
Well, Richard Hawley, for one, you know, he's just got such a wonderful sort of lyrical kind of romanticism that I absolutely love his records. I'm listening loads to JJ Cale at the moment, actually. Naturally is one of my favourite records, and he's really good at that, you know, having that like intensely romantic, swoozy song like Magnolia, and then like next to Call the Breeze. It was really kind of vibey tune, you know. It's yeah, I guess it's like trying to get the sonics right so they all fit nicely together. But yeah, that's the tricky bit.
Well, you've done bits and bobs with other artists over the years. You worked with Herbie Hancock, who said that the choices you make with your voice are spectacular, really interesting choices. Your voice,
nice.
Is it an instinctive thing when you sing, or are you aware of what you're doing and pushing it to other places?
It's very instinctive. I mean, I definitely feel like I'm becoming more interested in the mechanics of it now, actually. I'm thinking about sort of writing songs for a singer, you know, to sing that, because some things are just sort of technically quite difficult, or really sort of rewarding when you start getting them right, or just expressive in the colours that you can sort of, the textures and timbres you can bring into it. And so I'm kind of trying to write more in a way that makes that, brings that to the forefront of it, whereas before I sort of didn't really think about that when I was writing, you know. I was and I feel now, and my voice is sort of developing just from literally being the lead singer and touring so much, you know, as a muscle. I think my voice has gotten much stronger, so I can do more things with it, and I'm really enjoying that, actually. I love it. I love singing. My favourite thing in the world.
When you write, the impulse to write's obviously there, but do you kind of sit at home and do it, or do you take a finished idea to the band and that's where it's worked up into the song?
I take a finished idea to the band. I work on it by myself, you know, pretty much by myself, and then I'd bring it to them and we would sort of just start to arrange it and sort of flesh it out, which is a huge leap, you know, from me by myself, having an idea of kind of the scope of it, but not really, and then everyone bringing their own expertise to it, and that's a really exciting stage in the process, to sort of demoing it and really kind of thinking about how to do it. But in general, it's fairly self-contained when I bring it to them. But
does that make it hard to let go, say, of a song, again, like Little Bird, you know, where it's obviously a really intimate song? Do you find it a struggle to take it to the band, or to take it to an audience even?
Initially, actually, with Little Bird, I did. Initially, I found it really weird to sing it live. Not so much to the band, because we're family, but I felt, definitely the first few times I played in front of noise, I felt like they were looking up my skirt a bit. But I guess that's a good thing. If you have that feeling, I guess that means you've been sort of honest and in some way brutal to yourself, or something that makes you feel a little blushing at the whole business. So it's probably a good sign. But now Little Bird's probably my favourite to sing, and I usually start the gig with it, actually, because it's so intense. And for me, I think I find it easier to start with something that I can't sort of sing it nonchalantly, you know. I can't do it without really thinking about it, and so I think it's probably a good one to start with.
It's a hell of a punch for the audience.
Sometimes they're coming in. We'll see how it goes tonight now, actually, but sometimes they're coming in and it sort of makes people go, people tend to be quieter when you're being quieter. Well, hopefully, sometimes. So I find it's a good one to start with. It sort of sets the tone of sparseness, which is good, I think.
You're touring with Richard Hawley at the moment, and obviously in a pared down version of your band. That must be quite interesting to strip some of the songs back down.
Yeah, it's really good. I've done a few sort of thingies by myself, but only not too much, and it's been great having John Smith and Ross Turner with me on singing guitar and mandolin and everything, and drums, and we've got loads of harmonies, and it's kind of been nice to have a bit more space around the song. I love playing with the full band, and that, you know, the instrumentation that goes with that is really important to the tunes. But actually, once in a while, stripping it back and having this really bare I mean, it's not even that bare, to be honest. But you know, just having a bit more air around the lyrics and the harmonies and things has been really interesting, and it's really good, I think, for me to kind of get used to less, because I'm always a bit afraid of doing things by myself. But actually, when I do them, I do quite enjoy it. You know.
Probably on the way back down to just being at home and playing by yourself to write the next album then.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this tour of actually trying to get a bit of writing done, because with the support tour you sort of have obviously you're sort of less busy, and so I have this opportunity of having sort of my days reasonably free, and also have John and Ross to bounce things off, and that's always good. And yeah, I'm going to try and get some tunes written. I wonder will they all sound lovely and croony like Richard Hawley? Could do. That'd be brilliant. Get a bit of Richard Hawley into my writing. That'd be amazing. Hopefully so.
Your heart sings like a kettle, and your words, they boil away like steam, and a lie burns long while the truth bites quick. Our heart is built for both, it seems. You are lonely as a church despite the queuing out your door. I am empty as a promise, no more. When the time comes and rights have been read, I think of you often, but for once I meant what I said. I was salted by your hunger. Now you've gone and lost your appetite, and a little bird is every bit as handy in a fight. I am lonely as our memory, despite the gathering round the fire. Aren't you every bird on every wire? When the time comes and rights have been read, I think on you often, but for once I meant what I said. Here I stay, I lay me down in a house by the hill. I'm dug from the rubble and cut from the kill. Here I stay, I lay me down in a house by the hill. I'm dug from the rubble and cut from the kill. I'm dug from the rubble and cut from the kill. I'm dug from the rubble and cut from the kill.